If I lost everything, here is how I would rebuild my portfolio with strategy, not luck. Yo, what's going on, Premium Chasers? I hope you are having a God-blessed day today. Every person that comments down below is going to get my 5 favorite Vanguard funds. All you got to do is drop a comment down below to get that. I will personally respond to every single person. And while you're down there, hit that like button and that subscribe button. Guys, a little bit of a change of scenery. I'm in a monsoon right now, dude. So you're going to probably hear a lot of thunder and lightning and heavy rainfall. Might even put you to sleep. But guys, today I got a good one for you guys. I saw this question recently come up. And it's like, Pete, let's say I'm starting over, right? Maybe I'm restructuring my portfolio. Maybe I'm literally starting from zero. I make some good money. How do I rebuild? How do I build a portfolio from scratch? See, most of us have been investors for a really, really long time, and we don't often think about, hey, proper portfolio structures and management. Today, I'm going to show you guys what I would do. So first and foremost, guys, the first thing I would do is assess your financial situation, right? What is your financial situation and how much money are you setting aside for investing purposes? And the first thing I would be investing in is Vanguard funds. Now, every single person that's going to comment down below is going to get a much more depth breakdown of why these funds that you're seeing on your screen right now, I believe, are the 5 best to be doing on a monthly basis. At least for me personally, go do your own research, right? Read this chart, guys. Listen, I'm a walking, not financial advice. I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? So these 5, I believe, are the best, right? And the reason I think they're the best is because there's not a tremendous amount of overlap. What I see a lot of times is people will be doing like, they'll have like VU and like VTI and like VUG and all. There's so much overlap, right? Because listen, we fill in Vanguard's pockets here, guys, right? So we want to make sure that we're spreading out our Vanguard funds as diversified as possible. Now, me personally, these are my favorite ones: VXUS, VIG, VYM, VTI, VPU. You can go do whatever you want. This is just what I like to do, okay? And for sure, obviously leave a comment if there's something that you see missing in there. But again, I'm not going to dive into each and every single one of this video because that would take me literally 45 minutes. I will give you a playbook that dives into each and every single one of these and why I believe this is a great monthly kind of like set and forget portfolio. So first and foremost, that's where I would allocate if it was me and I was rebuilding. I would put 50% of my money towards purchasing these Vanguard funds on a monthly basis. That, like, let's say, I have a $5,000 a month that I'm going to invest or whatever it is. $2,500 is going to be going towards my Vanguard portfolio that I'm setting for. Again, I'm not touching it. I'm not selling options on it. I'm not doing anything crazy. This is my retirement. This is my whatever you want to call it. It's set, forget, not touching it whatsoever. Okay. Now, after that, I would then assess how much money I can actually use to create like an active income stream, right? And that's what I call our quad option strategy, selling options. And the purpose of those selling options is to treat it like a business, right? To actually make money from selling options, right? Now, again, these are 2 different strategies, right? We have our like monthly buy, set and forget. It's reoccurring buys. That's it, right? That's more like, buy and hold, right? While we're looking at selling options, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we're selling options. This is a lot more different than buying options. But what we want to do here is focus on the actual income of the options and not paper gains, okay? I saw somebody post in our group today this morning and they were complaining, hey, I'm not even gonna say it. You go join the Facebook group and you can read the post. It's kind of like our biggest post right now. Go join. All the resources and stuff like that, calculators I'm gonna show you, are all free in the Facebook group. It's a vibe in there, all about selling options, guys, and great conversations are happening in there. Go take a look. It's a real fun time. So now, assuming, I don't have a massive budget here, let's say I only have like an extra like $2,500 or something around that to really be in like, I hate to say active trader because I would never introduce myself as a trader. I'm an investor with some short-term plays that I do to generate premiums, right? So I would be looking at some low-cost stocks, right? I'd be looking at low-cost stock. My 2 kind of like favorite ones are SoFi and American Airlines. These are 2 stocks that I love selling options on because, right, they're cheap, right? At the end of the day, the stock price is cheap and they're companies that I actually love and I really believe in long term, right? So they fit my criteria. I love them. right? I wouldn't mind holding them for long term, and I can sell options on them. Now, these are two fairly different companies. So me personally, even if I'm starting at a small portfolio, guys, like I'm treating it as if I'm running $1 million portfolio, guys, because the habits that you're going to build when you're running a small portfolio are going to transition when you're running a large portfolio. Okay? Can't stress it enough. Build your habits now. If you have a small portfolio, 10, 20 grand, right? And you're just, just kind of just shooting from the hip, you're not tracking anything, you're not doing you're just kind of logging in and seeing what happens. Like you couldn't answer like basic questions if I asked you, right? So like you have to build good habits right out of the gate, and that's why I love selling options, guys. It's not we're not trading a lot, so there is no excuse. There ain't no excuse, fam, that you ain't tracking your stuff correctly. If you're over trading, you're probably gonna lose. You're gonna get bit and you're gonna get hurt, right? So for me, I'm going to try and spread my risk across one or two companies. If I can't, listen, I'm going to have to make a decision. I would have to make a decision. Hey, which one am I going to go with? So let's take a look at SoFi right here, right? So we're taking a look at SoFi. We're going to go over trade options, and we have some extra cash. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I do love SoFi. I use them for all my banking, savings, even investing stuff, and maybe some loans and stuff I get from SoFi. Big believer in the company, right? So let's take a look at something that's 30 to 45 days out. We'll split the middle. We'll go 37 days out, and we're going to take a look at some stock prices. Basically, what I'm saying here is I'm willing to buy 100 shares of SoFi in 37 days for a price that I choose, and you damn well know I'm going to get paid for saying maybe, right? So I'm going to be like, you know what? Is that 14 right now? If it drops to 13, I'm a big believer in this. I'll totally buy it. If it hits 13, I'm cool buying 100 shares, right? So for that, I would collect a $43 from an options buyer. Now, this is obviously an educational example. These are only the numbers that I'm seeing at the time of this recording, all right? Results vary, all right? No guarantees. So right here, I'm just going to put $43 in my premium, right? And for my collateral here, right, I'm going to put $1,300, right? You're going to have to put up $1,300 of your money, of that, let's say, $2,500 budget or whatever, right? You're going to have to lock up that money for the 37 days, right? So we're going to put, our $1,300 here, right? And we're going to put our expiration is 37 days. Again, all these calculators are free in the Facebook group. Join us, guys. It's a fun time in there. So what we're seeing here is our return, right? So we have about a 3.31% return on this educational example right here, right? That is basically just taking, right, our premium and dividing it by the actual collateral, giving us a 3.31% return, annualized, looking at 32%. Obviously, I just like to look at this annualized. You maybe could pull this trade off 9 times, but oftentimes we're going to be dealing with assignment and stuff like that that we'll be talking about. But I like to look at this annualized return, right? So I have a choice here I can make. I could be like, hey, you know what? I really love SoFi. I'm just going to open up, 2 contracts for it. I'm just going to open up 2 contracts right here, right? And that's going to basically cap out my budget at $2,600, right? So that's that. Right there. Now you're just kind of sitting on your hands and waiting. Some of you might be like, Pete, this is the most boring strategy that you could tell me, man. I'm putting $2,600 up and I only make $86. Dude, I'd rather just put that into Trump coin or something, man. Like, what am I doing here, right? I could go fart coin. I got so many other opportunities to 100x. Why would I do this? Listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just a dude on the internet, and I've lost a lot of money doing dumb things. And me personally, I am done doing dumb things. I am like that turtle, and I am just going to be slow and steady and wins the race. In my opinion, a return like this on a monthly or 37 days is fantastic, and it fits into my goals and my lifestyle. I'm not a degenerate gambler like a lot of you unfortunately are, and you feel like you constantly need to be trading because you have FOMO. FOMO trading is terrible. FOMO trading leads to losses, and then losses lead to revenge trading, which, guess what? That blows your accounts, right? Because it's just a never-ending thing. I rather set myself up in a position where I'm getting into stocks I love anyway, plus I'm collecting some juice too, right? Why would come on. Give me an amen. Give me an amen in the comments, guys. You also get a much more detailed approach to my 5 favorite Vanguard funds, all right? So let's go over it. So Now, I have other options. No pun definitely intended, right? Is I can spread my risk out a little bit more, right? So let's say, I'm just going to do one contract, right? I'm going to do one contract here, Pete, right? I'm going to do one contract SoFi. And then, you know what? I have another stock that I really love. I love American Airlines. Maybe I'll do one contract there as well, right? So go over to American Airlines. We'll trade our options. We'll click sell, put. We're going to go out to the same expiration date. And let's say, it's currently trading at 12.23. Well, if it drops to 11 in 37 days, totally cool. Totally cool buying 100 shares of American Airlines. For that, in this example, we collect $26 in premium from the options buyer, right? And we are putting up $1,100 now in collateral, right? So, right, add those together. That's $2,400 of our $2,500 budget, right? Now, we are getting a little bit less of a return here, of course, right? But in my opinion, American Airlines is a lot more stable of a company than most, right? SoFi is a growth stock, right? So there's going to be a lot more volatility. And when there's more volatility, you see better returns. When you see kind of like less volatility, well, everything's volatile right now. But when you see less volatility, you see less returns. But in my opinion, over a 37-day period, for my goals and what I like to do, 2.36%, that is absolutely fantastic. And I love that, right? Again, slow and steady for me wins the race, okay? And we basically come in under budget of about $100, right? $2,400. And we've collected on both of these $69 in premium. Now, we just sit on our hands and wait. We wait. And what are we exactly waiting for? Well, we are waiting to see what happens, okay? And now a few things can actually happen if you're new to selling options, right? Let's say, right, American Airlines, right, 37 days rolls around and American Airlines stays above $11, right? And if it stays above $11, right, your contract would expire worthless, right? Meaning your funds are returned back to you. They're no longer collateralized, right? If that's even a freaking word. But they're no longer held as collateral. They're returned back to you to then run a sell put for another opportunity that you see, right? Fantastic, right? We walk away with that premium. We walk away with that premium. Same thing goes for SoFi. If SoFi stays under, $30 or over $13, you won't have to buy those 100 shares, right? And you walk away with the premium, you get your $1,300 back, right? And then at that point, right, how much do we have, right? We've now have $2,469, right? Or $2,569 if we want to add that extra 500. So you could see how we're kind of starting to compound here, right? We're starting to compound. Now the following month, we're starting with a little bit more cash than we had the previous month. We can then do cash secured puts on some new opportunities that we've seen. Then the following month, and the following month, and the following month. Eventually you will be assigned. And it's inevitable, right? Eventually you will be assigned. And what does being assigned mean? Well, being assigned means that you will have to sell your shares. So in this example, right, AAL, let's say it does drop to 11. Let's say it drops to 10. You're going to buy your 100 shares at $11. Now, if you do buy your shares at $11, right, you can then do something called selling covered calls, okay? So for our first example, let's just go back, or we'll just do American Airlines here as our first example. Right, so let's say it hits, just for the simplicity's sake, let's just say you bought them at $11 and it's trading around $11, right? Just for the sake of the example. What we're going to do now is we're going to sell a call. Now, instead of saying we're willing to buy 100 shares of a stock, we're saying we're willing to sell our 100 shares for a stock for a price that we choose and collect more premium, right? So let's say, for example, you bought it at 11 and you want to sell it for 13, right? Now, this premium may be a little bit less, obviously, if American Airlines drops to 11. So understand that these numbers are changed. It's a little bit more difficult to show as an educational example on the options chain, right? Because the numbers will look a little bit different, right? But let's just say you are saying, hey, you know what? I'm willing to sell the shares I bought for $11 a share. I'm willing to sell them for $13 the following month, right? So then we can go to our covered call calculator, and you could see we're collecting here $44 in premium from the options buyer. Our strike of the option, that's what we're willing to sell it for, is $13, we said. We purchased, our purchase price was $11, right? That's our cost of those 100 shares. And our premium return here, right, is basically dividing our premium by 1,100, right? And that's giving us about a 4% return on our premium, right? And then our profit on the shares, if we sell our shares, right, is $200, right? Because the difference between 13 and 11, times 100 is going to give us $200, right? For a total gain of $244 if we sell them. And that's just showing this as an example. So a few things can happen, right? So if let's say we're selling this call, if American Airlines stays below 13, right? And 37 days rolls around, your contract will expire worthless, right? Meaning your 100 shares will no longer be tied up as collateral, right? And you can then run another covered call on your shares to collect more premium. The second thing that can happen is your shares will hit $13. Maybe American Airlines jumps up to $15. You're going to sell your shares at $13. Okay? Which in my opinion is okay, right? Again, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, selling your shares is a good thing, guys. That's the point, in my opinion. You have to make your own decisions. But my purpose of this is to treat option selling as a business, right? It's a business and it's designed to actually generate premiums and collect actual gains, not paper gains, right? We've seen what this market can do to us in the span of a week, right? We went just look what just happened, right? So for me, right, I would be okay if I get sold because, right, if I end up selling my shares, right, let's see what we would have, right? Let's say on the cash secured put side, we got assigned, right? We got assigned, and we our $1,100 was taken from us. We collected $26 in premium, right? And then if we come here, right, we would essentially gain a $270, right? This is our cash secured put premium. If we sell our shares, right, plus the premium, and then our original, $1,100, right, that we put up on the cash secured put. So you'd be sitting at $1,370 just on the American Airlines play. Now, obviously, you can go do this same exact thing on the SoFi play. So let's go take a look at the numbers that we would see on SoFi if we sell our shares with our covered call. Okay, so let's go take a look at SoFi here, right? We'll go to SoFi. And then we're going to go to trade options. Let's assume that you had to buy your shares at $13. We're going to sell a call, and then we're going to go out to that same expiration date of 37 days. Again, these numbers will look different, guys. On the covered call side, it's a bit more difficult to share exactly what those numbers will look like. This is just, for example, on educational purposes. Cannot stress this enough. So we bought them at 13. Let's say you're willing to sell them at 15. You're going to collect $61 from the options buyer, right? So let's put 61 here from the options buyer. Our strike, what did we buy them for? We bought them, right? What did we say? We bought them for $13, right? And then our purchase strike price, right? Our sell price is 15 right here. And then our purchase was 13. So it's $200 of profit on the shares as well. A little bit more of a premium return, obviously, because it's SoFi compared to American Airlines, right? For a total profit of $261. Plus, if we got the premium here as well, let's toss that in here. Right? And then it's 43, my bad. 43. This is why it's important to stay organized, guys, because you can quickly get a little messier. Plus our $1,300 as well. So then on the SoFi side, you'd made $1,600. Right? Now, obviously, this is just for an educational example. Eventually, though, if you're picking good companies, good stocks, both legs of your wheel, right, the quad option strategy will happen. Eventually, you're going to take assignment on your cash secured puts, right? If not a problem. You can run the play again until you get assigned and keep collecting that premium. Eventually, when you're assigned, though, you can then run those covered calls, right? You might not get assigned the following month. It doesn't necessarily happen. This isn't a guarantee that you're going to sell your shares. You might be stuck holding them for a few months, but that's okay, right? Because you're still selling those covered calls and generating some of those premiums with the hopes of eventually selling your shares. Guys, don't forget, drop a comment down below for my five favorite Vanguard funds that I love to purchase on a monthly basis and why I believe it is the best Vanguard kind of setup with not a tremendous amount of overlap. Also, if you're somebody that's more interested in a handheld approach to selling options, we do have a 1-year-long incubator program. So take a look in the description of today's video. I do believe it takes about a year to get really, really good and gain mastery in selling options because we do not trade a lot throughout the month. A handful of times, in my opinion, is all you need, right? So you can take a look at that incubator program down below. It'll be the first link in the description of today's video. Guys, remember, sell options, collect premiums, and repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.